Hello guys, in today's video we're going to be looking at the Vienna Gambit in the King's Gambit. So without wasting much of your time, let's just dive into the game. So here we have pawn to e4, black response, pawn to e5, we have knight to c3, then we have knight to f6, we have pawn to f4. So now this is the Vienna Gambit and black takes pawn at f4. Now we have pawn to d5 attacking the knight, and the knight cannot advance any further because the knight and the queen are holding squares on the white squares. So knight retreats back to g8. We have knight to f3, then pawn moves to d6. We have pawn to d4. Pawn takes pawn at d4. Instead of taking back the pawn, you advance your bishop to c4. Then pawn takes pawn at e4. Then white castles. Now if the pawn should take the knight at c3, this is a bad move for black because bishop takes pawn at f7 with a check. Now even if the king should move to e7, rook comes down to, or rook moves to e1, checking the king, and the king is forced to take the bishop at f7. Then queen takes queen at d8. Now assuming if at this point in time black refuses to take the pawn at f4 and chooses to move pawn to d6, kind of developing his pieces, you can just move your knight to f3. Then you play knight to c6. Then bishop comes to c4. Now have bishop to g4, pinning the knight at f3. Then white castles. Now knight comes to d4, trying to mount more pressure on the knight. Then pawn takes pawn at e5. Then pawn takes pawn at e5. Then we have this brilliant sack, bishop times f7 again. Now king takes bishop at s7. We have knight times e5, checking the king and as well the bishop. So king moves to g8. Knight takes bishop at g4. Knight takes knight at g4. Now queen takes knight at g4. So at this position, if the knight should simply take the pawn at c2, kind of threatening the rook at a1, can just give him an instant mate at a6. So this is just one aspect of the Vienna Gambit. So if you want to know more about these games, do well to follow me on my video. Thanks.